thank you to our sponsor, MBA Growth Partners.
Welcome to Studio 501c3. I'm your host, Kim Jones, CEO of the Nonprofit Village, which increases capacity and provides shared space for charitable organizations. We're featuring nonprofit organizations that provide direct services to individuals and families in the county. And these charities are designated as a 501c3 because they provide a public benefit. So in most cases, your donations are tax deductible to them. This show is offered by Montgomery Community Media, and MCM is your public access resource that provides a variety of information and programs relevant to Montgomery County. On today's episode, I'm talking to Vicky Strella, co-president of the League of Women Voters of Montgomery County. The League of Women Voters provides well-researched and unbiased information so that all voters become better informed. Vicky, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Kim, for having me on.
Great. So people know the League of Women Voters, I think most for the voter guides that they see around town and polling training that's offered, but there's also a lot more to what you do in running the League. So tell us a little bit more about the activities in general.
Well, it is true. We are known for our election activities, and we can talk about that at great length. However, we also do a lot of work locally to advocate for positions that we have taken on a whole range of issues, from housing, transportation, environmental concerns, redistricting issues, election security and safety, and voter rights. So it's not just our core election services, but a lot of different things we do here in Montgomery County.
And is what you do in the county different from what other leagues do in other jurisdictions? Do you decide your own programs locally, or are you taking from a national platform and all going by certain practices?
Well, it's a multi-level organization. So we do have the State League of Women Voters, Maryland League of Women Voters, from whom we take some guidance on positions and work with them on positions that have been adopted statewide. We also work above that level with the League of Women Voters of the United States, our mother organization, 102-year-old organization, founded right after women got the right to vote. We have a study process at all levels. This goes for national, state, and local. We form committees to study an issue that is important to our members. We provide well-researched guides, fact sheets about the issues. We get people together in small groups to talk about the issues, to really do deep dives into what we're concerned about. And then we go through a consensus process where we develop a position that we have consensus on by our members. So when we end up with a position, we feel that we have the whole weight of the organization behind us. And when we look at a local issue too, we look at it through the lens that's been provided by the state and the national organization. So we have a lot of strength in our positions and what we advocate for.
Right. So you've got a lot of meat behind that. Are there challenges that you come across when you're studying an issue and you want to raise awareness on a voter issue or a public policy issue? What would be some of the challenges?
Well, one of the challenges in particular in Montgomery County that I've been thinking about a lot lately is the dearth of coverage of local issues here. We don't really have a very robust local media array anymore. And so one of our issues is how to get the word out about what, basics, what's happening in the county, what people should be concerned about. Yeah, we have a wonderful Washington Post and other outlets, but the the concentration is not on what's happening here in the county. So sometimes citizens just don't have the facts, the figures, the know-how to make decisions.
I've often said to people around the country, the national news is our local news here in this region, and therefore sometimes that dominates as opposed to what's happening on the ground. And that was something I was going to ask you about in terms of just ordinary people, everyday people trying to increase their knowledge and their voice. And I think this is very important. And there probably do need to be more platforms. We've only got about 2 minutes before we go to break, but talk to me a little bit about that.
I could tell you about something that we developed. We've been doing this for years, but in recent years, it's really taken off. It's called Trending Topics. It's a monthly program where we take an issue that's of great concern to the present or the future of Montgomery County and do a real deep dive on it. We ask experts to come on. Sometimes it's one person presenting, sometimes a panel. And we've had just such interesting topics lately. We did one recently on eliminating bias in MCP in public schools. We've looked at the redistricting process and what that means locally and statewide. We're going to be looking at Thrive 2050 in the coming months. And I'm sure that will continue for a long time. That's a long process. And we're looking at voter ranked voter choice, ranked voter. Yes, ranked voting. Sorry.
Exactly. We're going to go ahead and take a brief break, but I do want to hear a little bit more about those issues, and I think we want people to know how they can access those topics when we come back. So you'll hear more about the League of Women Voters and their programs, Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media. We'll be right back.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Studio 501c3, your window into exceptional nonprofit programs in Montgomery County. So Vicki, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you for a second so that we could go to break, but how do people access the topical shows that you're producing?
Well, they're happening every month on the fourth Monday in the evening, and you can go on our website and get the information. We have an extensive mailing list. You can ask to be on our website, and you'll get notices of these. And then you don't have to just tune in that night. They are on Zoom. They're webinars.
So they're on demand. So you can pull up that. Sure.
You just register. You register for them through our website. And the other nice thing about them is if you can't make it on a Monday evening, it's on our YouTube channel. So you can watch, get caught up, go back and listen to something that interests you. I've just been so impressed with the amount of work and the expertise of the people that put these together. And I think it's a real service to the county that I hope we can make more people aware of through talking with you.
As you were mentioning, some of the topics like redistricting, that's happening nationally, but you're going to put a hyper local lens on it, or a hyper local spin on it, I guess.
Right. With redistricting, we're mostly looking at just making sure that the whole process is transparent and open, and that, you know, our commitment to fairness and equity in voting is brought to bear on the process. We're nonpartisan. We're not supporting one party or the other in this. We just want to make sure that citizens have a good way of accessing information about it.
And so following on from that, you're always encouraging more awareness about the voter issues, local issues, and trying to increase participation. Some of the things that you've mentioned are just a few ways: the voter guides, the topical shows, trainings. What other ways are you working to increase participation so that more people are aware, knowledgeable, and participate in having their voice heard through the voting process?
Well, we do a lot of voter registration drives around the county. That is ongoing work, and we're always looking to get out into areas where maybe we haven't been before, that are underrepresented in voting. We put a lot of emphasis on registering first-time voters, youth, low-income communities, people of color. We want to get out and make voter registration accessible to the greatest number of people that truly represent the demographics in our county. So that's one way. We do a number of other things. We have a speakers bureau where people can go on our website, look up Speakers Bureau, and request, like, say, if you have a club or a meeting, an organization that you're a part of, and you say, gee, we'd love to have somebody come and talk about, for instance, ballot issues, right. Things that are on the ballot that are confusing, and you don't always find a lot of information out there. We have experts that can come and speak to your organization for free and explain them in a nonpartisan way, and just make the whole process more open and accessible to people.
And I can attest to that. So 15 years ago is when I took my first training with you and registered people to vote in apartment complexes. Also became a polling judge, at my local polling place. So yeah, the work that you do is incredible. I'm so sorry that we're actually out of time, because we could talk more about this. And I hope to have you back so that we can have a more conversation about what you're doing and increasing all of this awareness. I think that our audience has learned quite a bit about how you address the issues, the awareness that needs to go on during not only election cycles, but during the off time, so that when people aren't paying attention to an actual election. So Vicky, I want to thank you for sharing great information and for being with us today.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure to be here, Kim. Thank you.
For more information on the League of Women Voters in Montgomery County, visit their website at lwvmoco, MOCO, I'm Kim Jones. Thanks for joining us, and come back for another edition of Studio 501c3 on Montgomery Community Media.